Yo, what's up, guys? We got a ton of games, so figured we could do a quick live stream, try to find some bets. So, some good games, some potential blowouts. The 76ers game should be good, but anyways, definitely some blowout potential in Trailblazers, Timberwolves. But regardless, a ton of NBA tonight, more games, more opportunity. Hopefully we can find some pretty good bets. So in these live streams, there's tons of sports books out there. Depending on where you're located, maybe use FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Ballybet. There's tons of books. But in these live streams, I try to keep them brief and just kind of focus on the main books that most people use. So you can see a new sports book that's been popping up everywhere is Dabble. There's just a lot of value on this platform right now. So PrizePicks is a great book to have. Dabble works exactly the same way. If you use PrizePicks, it's probably legal in your state, and there's a lot of opportunity. But anyways, where should we start out? Maybe we start out on Fliff. Why not? Or we can start out, there's a lot of good potential plays. Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes. So anyways, let's just kind of reload the PrizePicks optimizer and see what we can zone in on. So the first play that looks pretty good is Jaden Ivey under 24.5 points plus rebounds. So these lines are always moving around. News is always coming out. Who's playing, who's not playing, who's sitting, who's not sitting. So all this type of stuff is moving around the market, moving around lines. So we never really know, when are the best bets going to occur. You're kind of like a trader or an investor. Everything depends on price, where you can find value. So if you look at Jaden Ivey, PrizePicks has his line at 24.5. All these other books have moved him to 23.5. Caesars has his line at 23.5 with the under, pretty heavily favored, juiced. So long story short, we're kind of looking through the market, treating all these things as data points. And it's clear that PrizePicks has Jaden Ivey's line too high. So what we want to do is we want to go here. And then we wanted points plus rebounds, I believe. Jaden Ivey under 24.5 points plus rebounds. All the other books have ripped him down to 23.5. So that seems like a pretty good play to go with. You could also take his PRA line under, 29.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Another play that looks halfway decent is Maxey under 7 first quarter total points. So again, even if you don't use FanDuel, it's still important to look at their lines just as a source of information. FanDuel is a multi-billion-dollar company. They are taking a ton of NBA bets and moving lines around based on where action's coming in. And if we just go to player points, first quarter total points, you'll see FanDuel has Maxey's line not only lower at 6.5, but they also have the under favored, right? They have the under, and I just missed it. They have the under juiced to minus 122. And you can see they already bumped this fucking play on Ivy. So I can barely get a slip down. PrizePicks, a lot of times I feel like it's they're tuning into this live stream and getting rid of value. But anyways, let's go here. Is Maxey's line still available? I don't even see it. So maybe they pulled that too. So it does look like they pulled that. So anyways, maybe we start out on Fliff. A little tired of the lines moving. So one play, it's a little crazy because he's the center, but this play looks pretty good. Reith under 5.5 rebounds at plus 105 odds on Fliff. So if you look, you can see no other book is even giving you plus money. FanDuel actually has, the over at plus 104. So what you could do is you could arbitrage bet this, right? You could, if you use FanDuel and you use Fliff, you can see it right here. Where is it? Hit the over for 250, hit the under for 250. You're getting plus money on both sides, so you'll make money no matter what, right? You can imagine, and it looks like they moved it anyways. FanDuel moved it to minus 108. But this seems like a decent play. Not crazy value. Again, what's really powerful about sports betting is you're typically betting on games that day. So even if you have a 2% ROI, if you can have a 2% ROI on your bets every day, that's 60% over the course of a month. So, not a super high edge on this play, but maybe we hit it small. So what we can do is we can just go here and, whatever, hit it for $100. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So, these Fliff coins are worthless. They don't do anything. So what you want to use is the Fliff cash. So again, I never go into a day knowing what I'm going to bet. It all depends on where's their value, where is their opportunity in the market. Sometimes there's a lot of value on FanDuel. Other times it's Fliff. Dabble is a new sports book where there's a lot of value. So I've been placing a lot of bets on Dabble. So it just kind of depends. And ideally you use, a bunch of these sports books. The more books you use, the better. So anyways, first play of the live stream, we have Reith under 5.5, rebounds at plus 105 on Fliff, right? You talk to any trader, any investor, everything's about price. Why is this a good investment at this price? It's the same thing in sports betting. Everything boils down to value. What odds are you getting and finding value in the market? But anyways, let's go back here and let's hopefully find some plays on PrizePicks or Underdog or something. So Underdog, it looks pretty dry. Let's go back to PrizePicks though. Honestly, PrizePicks a little dry as well. I mean, I'm sure lines will be moving around. This is typically the best time of day to start looking for bets because, lineups are changing, who's starting, who's not starting. All these lineup alerts are coming out. The only hard part is just trying to get down the bets before PrizePicks ends up, moving them on us. So let's go here. And hopefully we can find some good plays to lock in. There's also a lot of plays on Dabble if you want to lock something in. There's just not a website for Dabble, so you can only bet on it on your phone. So it's hard to live stream. But anyways, here we go. We got our first play. Zion under 32.5 PRAs. So he was questionable. It looks like he's going to play. And again, the way that PrizePicks works, pretty simple, is if you take a player's over versus under, right, you get the same payout regardless. So any two-pick entry, you're getting a 3x payout. Doesn't matter if you take the over or the under. So basically what you want to do is compare the lines on PrizePicks to sports books. You'll see all these sports books have Zion heavily favored to go under, right? FanDuel has ripped him. You can follow kind of the line movements, but all these books are telling you, he's more likely to go under. So that's a good play to go with. And there's a lot of value on ParlayPlay as well. So maybe we'll make a slip there in a sec, but obviously PrizePicks is the more popular book, so we'll start there. But anyways, here we have another play, Tobias Harris under 31.5 points plus rebounds. So we can check out this play. And again, hopefully they don't end up bumping it on us super quickly. So this is the play we want. So we have two unders to start the slip. And again, it's just hopefully they don't end up bumping it. But good lines get bumped. That's just kind of how it is. So you can see PrizePicks has his line at 31.5, FanDuel 29.5, all these other books 30.5. So definitely some value on that. Another play I liked that I included in a previous slip, and we'll see if it's still available, is right here. Tony to score a touchdown. So we had an NFL play. I kind of broke that play down on Twitter, so I'm not going to explain it again. But anyways, then we have a shots on goal combo, Boldy and Tippett, over 6.5 shots on goal. And again, 3-pick parlays on PrizePicks, you're only getting a 5x payout. Underdog Fantasy, if you make a slip on Underdog, 20 to win 120, they're giving you a, 6x payout. So it does matter the type of slip you're going with. You want to make sure, you're going with the best type of slip, which are 5 or 6 pick flex plays. So anyways, we can go here and we wanted over 6.5. So here we have this. Now we have a 4-pick flex, but again, ideally we can find one more play as the market kind of moves around, something with value. And again, PrizePicks is a little quicker than most other books. Scotty Barnes under 5.5 assists. Okay, so this can be our final pick. So we have Scotty Barnes under 5.5 assists. I'm already on Scotty Barnes under in rebounds, but I guess we're fading him twice. And I would bet this for more on PrizePicks. Are you fucking kidding me? So you can see they already bumped the play on Harris. Hopefully some of you were able to get it down, but PrizePicks, for 4-pick entries, they give me 150 max, but for, For 5-pick entries, they only give me a max of a much lower max betting size, which sucks, but it's just kind of how it is. On the other hand, Dabble, this other new fantasy site, they have really good betting limits. I can usually bet like whatever I want. So that's a great thing about Dabble. But anyways, we need one more pick to go with to make this slip. So we can kind of see we just need one final pick to go with to lock in this slip, and then we'll go over to ParlayPlay or something like that. Anyways, we'll try to find something. I mean, touchdown value, pretty dry on PrizePicks in general. I mean, most of them are demons or goblins. And in general, these demons and goblins, at least the ones I've looked through, are pretty crappy in terms of their payouts. But what we can do is we can check out, Isaiah Pacheco. So like you can see here for Pacheco, books have him slightly favored to score a touchdown, -130, -135. Obviously, the weather is going to be super horrible, so a lot more likely, to have rushing touchdowns as opposed to passing touchdowns in this game. But again, like on PrizePicks, you want to find plays that are heavily favored. You always get the same payout for a 5-pick flex play, so it all just boils down to your win rate. What percentage of your picks can you win? So if we look at Josh Allen, like Isaiah Pacheco, he's a very slight favorite to score a touchdown. What about Josh Allen? So Josh Allen, you can see he's slightly favored to not score a touchdown. But that's not what we don't want to see, -122. We want to see CeeDee Lamb is a huge favorite to score a touchdown. -185, -145, -145. But unfortunately, PrizePicks has Lamb. They have him as a goblin, so there's not really any value on that. But what we can check out, Aaron Jones seems to be a new pick. So Aaron Jones, whoa. So this play actually seems pretty decent. You can see Pinnacle, like he's a pretty big favorite, Aaron Jones, to not score a touchdown. This play also pairs pretty nicely with so you can see demons and goblins. I in general just ignore them. I haven't really found much value in any demons or goblins that I've looked at. But if you take a look at Aaron Jones, so I'll find it here in a sec. So anyways, let's just go back here because I want to lock in some slips on other platforms too. So if we go here to Aaron Jones and you take a look, so let's get rid of that, right? Like ESPN has him as a -160 favorite to not score a touchdown. Whoops. So long story short, the entire market has him favored to not score a touchdown. So whatever, I try to bet $500 on this. PrizePicks, anyone who's able to bet $500 on PrizePicks at this point has no idea what they're doing. They've hit most people who have made money off them with pretty aggressive limits, but regardless, here's what we got on for tonight. So we got NBA picks, a hockey combo prop, and then 2 NFL plays that pair pretty well together, Pollard to score, and then Aaron Jones to not score. And again, it's a pretty simple strategy. PrizePicks, they'll give you the same payout if you take Aaron Jones to score or to not score. So you want to look at sports books, like especially the sports books that have two-way markets. Like a lot of these books like Party Poker and BWin, they only offer odds on Aaron Jones to score. They have him +125 to score, which is an underdog price. So if you kind of assume they had the same amount of juice as ESPN, the odds on his under would be like -170. ESPN has 45 cents of juice, a 45-cent spread, +115, -160. So you can kind of assume like, okay, assuming this sports book or BetMGM, right? Like, or FanDuel is a perfect example. In Fanatics, they have Aaron Jones +115 to score. First of all, this market's probably juiced a lot because they're not giving you odds on an under. But if you assumed, they had the same odds, if they were to offer two-way markets, they would probably have Aaron Jones to not score around -160. So Aaron Jones is a heavy favorite to not score a touchdown, and that's a great play to go with on PrizePicks. So that seems great. But anyways, let's try to see if there's any more value on PrizePicks. If not, Maxey under 7.5 assists. So again, like it may not make sense initially, like why do good bets occur at certain times? But again, as these lineups change around, the market's moving, all these sports books set their own lines. They all set lines independently. So, you can see here, just looking at the line movement charts, like as news comes out, who's playing, who's not playing, all that type of stuff moves around the market, and books have to stay on top of it. But because they all set their own lines, our job as a good sports bettor is to kind of try to catch them sleeping. So like here, it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Alex Caruso to score over 1.5 threes is minus 105 on WinBet. All these other books have this, minus 150, minus 140 on FanDuel, minus 133 on Pinnacle, which is known to be a pretty sharp book. So you can kind of look at all these different books. But anyways, let's try to find some plays on Fliff briefly. So what we can do is we can get rid of this play on WinBet, or the book WinBet. And you can see a lot of value on Dabble. I mean, if you wanted to make a play, Conley under 6.5 assists. This play looks crazy good. And a lot of people will say, oh, like, why don't you just bet it on PrizePicks? But if you take a look at PrizePicks, I mean, we'll see where they have Conley's line. They may not even have him up in general. So if we go to player assists, and then we look up Conley, they have his line at 6. Dabble has his line at 6.5. Dabble and PrizePicks, they work in basically the exact same ways. But, a lot of the value goes away, 6 versus 6.5. It may not seem like a big difference, but it really matters long-term if you're betting under 6 or under 6.5, because if you bet under 6.5 and he has 6, you win. If you bet under 6, you push, you tie, you get a refund. So, I mean, this play does seem pretty good, although it looks like PrizePicks just moved it. So again, PrizePicks has been pretty on top of it close to game time. Usually the best value I find on PrizePicks pretty late at night when most people are asleep, but I give out some plays on Twitter. Anyways, here's another play we can lock in on Fliff. So this is for the Spurs game. So again, like the more bets you place, sometimes people have asked me, like, how many bets do you place in a day? Kind of depends. If there's not much sports going on, not a ton of games, sometimes I'll lock this in for 250. Sometimes I'll only place a couple bets. Whereas other days, if there's a ton of games, a ton of value in the market, I'll have a lot of bets. It just kind of depends. But anyways, maybe we make a slip-on parlay play quickly, and then we'll check out PrizePicks again kind of as we get closer to the game. So what we can do is, start to look for some plays on ParlayPlay. So ParlayPlay has the exact same payouts as PrizePicks for 6-pick entries, which is the optimal slip type. And sometimes there's pretty good value on ParlayPlay, so we can just take a look, right? Like this is player points plus rebounds plus assists. Miles Turner's line is 28.5, it looks like, on all these sports books, right? PrizePicks has his line at 28.5. All these books have his line at 28.5. Pinnacle, which is known to be a sharp book, they have his line at 28.5 with the under favored. And ParlayPlay is chilling at, 29.5. So we're using all these sports books and the lines where they have their line set. All these books have sophisticated models. They're multi-billion-dollar companies. They're taking bets, moving around lines based on where action's coming in, right? They're all telling you this line should be lower at 28.5. So this seems like a good play to go with. So that can be the first one we lock in. And then the second one we have is Markkanen under 35.5 PRAs, and it's the exact same thing. It looks like they're just a little too high. So some books have worse pricing than others. So the best advice I got when I started sports betting is, the market's super fragmented, inefficient. It's just kind of treat it like trading a stock. We're able to sell this stock, short this stock at 35.5 when the rest of the market has it at 34.5. So it's not like I woke up and was like, oh, I really want to bet on Markkanen's under 35.5 PRAs. I'm following the value in the market. So anyways, we can go here and let me make sure I have it added in. And we'll make a parlay play slip. If you don't use ParlayPlay already, they have an $100 deposit match. You sign up, you put in 100, you get 100 for free. So, that wasn't enough of an incentive for me to sign up for it. So next we have Terrence Mann You can see it right here, under 8.5 points. So you can kind of follow the line movements. It looks like lines, have been blasting towards his under. He's probably expected to play less minutes. Maybe lineups came out and something. I don't know. Sometimes it's like if a player on the opposing team ends up playing or not playing, that'll affect how often, how many minutes Terrence Mann is supposed to play, which affects, his likelihood of going over or under 8.5 points, which ultimately moves around the odds. But anyways, let's kind of go through this slip. And now we have our third pick, and we want to make a nice little 6-pick entry. So then we have LaMelo Ball over 4.5 rebounds. And I just like to refresh. Sometimes lines will end up moving on us. So like marking in, it's like there's value on ParlayPlay. Happens all the time, not only on his PRA line, but also his points plus rebounds line. Like it looks like they're just overinflated relative to the rest of the market. So next play, game with blowout potential. We have, Rockets. So I'm already on this play on PrizePicks, but hey, I guess we're taking it again. Is under 24.5 points. All the other books have the line at 23.5. So we already have a play in the Hornets game. So we have Wilkins under 3.5, and then we have Harden over 1.5, steals plus blocks. So sometimes, the values in kind of random markets. I follow a very data-driven approach. So far, we have 5 unders. Pretty crazy, but that's just kind of what it's going to be like today, it seems like. Okay. And then the final pick we have is Gobert under 28.5 PRAs. And now we have a 6-pick entry. This is the same payout structure as PrizePicks. The only difference is, again, these lines weren't available on PrizePicks, so the value goes away. But there are 6 overinflated lines on ParlayPlay. Following the data, you're not going to win every bet, but when all of your plays have an edge, a mathematical edge, you'll win long term. You'll beat the books. So we got down a good slip on ParlayPlay, but hopefully we can find some more stuff on PrizePicks. Man, Dabble is just fucking crazy. There's value everywhere. So we can also put in, FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings. Usually I set my max odds to like plus 150. Anyways, so you can see there's some good bets on Caesars. Some people ask me like, oh, even if the game's a few days away, should I place my bet? And it's like, for Flex Friday, I included Deontay Johnson under 3.5 receptions. If you take a look, we'll see if this line, they just removed his line. But what's crazy is, again, like the Bills-Steelers game, it's expected to have crazy weather, horrible weather. So the lines have been moving around. So like when I gave out this play, obviously I'd prefer to have bets, for today. So this was for PrizePicks' Flex Friday promo. So your first bet of the day is risk-free up to $20. You lose, you get your money back. Just make sure to opt in. It's under the promos tab. But obviously I would have preferred to have all bets for today. But if there's value for a few days from now, like the line's not going to last. PrizePicks pulled Johnson like 10 minutes after I bet it. And you can see here, if you just go to like player receptions, it's been pretty crazy because the weather's expected to be so bad and it keeps getting worse. Record high wind. All these receivers, lines have been moving towards their under. Deontay Johnson has ripped from being, favored to go over 3.5 receptions to now, like the whole market. I mean, you can look at every sports book. The whole market has ripped him to being pretty heavily favored to go under 3.5 receptions. Boom, right? Same thing with like Mason Rudolph passing yards and the total in the game. I mean, the worse the weather gets, the less likely there's going to be points in the game. So if you look at like, just as a simple example, if you look at, like the under 36.5 points, the under 36.5 points was an underdog plus 120 when books opened odds 5 days ago. Now it's a minus 170 favorite. Most of that's weather driven. So obviously, like if you could have bet the total at 36.5 and you found a good play, that would have been great. But now the value's gone away. All the books have the total. The weather is priced into the market. All the books now have this line around minus 170, minus 180. So you want to get down good bets when you see them. Obviously, I'm not advocating for, go place on bets, futures bets or something like that necessarily, but the good lines, they're not going to last. Anyways. So we can go back to Underdog. Maybe there's some value on Underdog. There's more value on ParlayPlay, but whatever. And then there's a shit ton of value on Dabble, but I gave out some plays on Twitter for that. So what we can do is we can go to PrizePicks. So lines still moving around in this Hawks game. Again, a lot of times, it's due to lineup news. Like people have different opinions on what a player's stat line should be. Just like the price of a stock changes after earnings reports. The company made a lot of money. The stock price goes up. The company's more valuable. Investors think the company's more valuable. It gets priced into the market. It's kind of the same thing here. So like De'Aaron Fox, for example, now on all the sports books, his under 9.5 rebounds plus assists is heavily favored. So we can go to Fox, and then we want to take him under 9.5 rebounds plus assists. So many people like to look at these last 5 grabs on PrizePicks, but again, like every game's different. There's a reason PrizePicks shows these to you, because PrizePicks knows it's not useful. They're not going to try to help you make money. They're trying to make money off you. They know these graphs are fucking useless, so they let you see them. But you can see here, all the books have his under heavily favored, so that's a good play. That's what we want to be on. And then we can kind of keep on going. Ideally, I don't use the same pick, so we have, the star rookie under 32.5 points plus rebounds. Andrew Nemard under 9.5 rebounds plus assists. Oh boy, we have some esports bets coming up. Holy shit. So look at this one. I mean, esports is a crazy, there used to be a lot more value in esports, I feel like, but hey, I guess it looks like it's back. So if you look at this player, there's less data points in esports. Like there's less, for the NBA, there's quite literally hundreds of sports books posting lines, and all those books are on OddsJam. For esports, what kind of sucks is you just have less data points. But this is crazy, right? It's like this guy's line, Godby, his line on Underdog is 22.5. His line on PrizePicks is 26.5. So what you could do is you could middle bet this. Hit the under 26.5 on PrizePicks, the over 22.5 on Underdog. If he has 23, 24, 25, 26 kills, you'll win both bets. You could do that. But also this other sports book, another data point in the market, they have his line lower at 23 as well. So it seems like, PrizePicks and Underdog, their models are obviously seem pretty out of sync for these esports lines. So getting the under 26.5 seems pretty good. We can include this play on Aaron Jones. Again, whatever. I like it a lot. I like Aaron Jones not to score a touchdown. The data backs it up. All the books have him heavily favored to not score. Did they already remove it? Oh my God. No, they didn't move it. So let's go ahead. Let's lock it in. And you can see a ton of esports line discrepancies. Take advantage of those if you want to. But we need one final pick because the games are about to start. So let me refresh this quickly. Man, things are getting crazy. Things are getting crazy. So what I can almost guarantee you news was just announced in the Warriors game, because you can see the lines are ripping around. This is the Heat, Wolves game. But it looks like lines are moving around in the Warriors game as well, so I'm not sure. You can see here a lot of things coming up in a lot of plays showing up in the Warriors game. But anyways, we'll skip over those for now because we were almost done with our slip. So let me actually just get rid of the Warriors for now. We'll look at that game in a sec. Oh, this was the final play we wanted. Rebounds plus assists. How do we feel about that? Or would we prefer, let's take Towns as under. So you can see like the Wolves just announced starting lineups. Maybe it was expected, maybe it wasn't, but you can see some line movement on Karl Anthony Towns, his under 9 rebounds. So if we just go to like rebounds, let's take a look at this and just kind of see what's going on. So like, it's like, what is going on here? PrizePicks has the line at 9, dabbles at 8. So like, this is what we want to see as a sports bettor. We want to see discrepancies. So you could middle bet it, hit the over 8, the under 9, if you wanted to. But I think what we'll do is let's just lock in Towns under 9 rebounds before they bump it. And again, sometimes it's just trying to move. So we could take his under 9. We also have Jaylen Warren under 8.5 rushing attempts. I mean, there's bets all over the place showing up right now. So we have Towns under 9 rebounds. A lot of plays on Towns in general. I mean, we could fade this guy. Reith under 10.5 points. We got esports plays. There's a lot of value on PrizePicks right now. So are there any plays I don't want to include anymore? So let me just get rid of these for a second, because it looks like there are some better plays. So we have this esports play. That's great. We have this play on Karl Anthony Towns. That's great. Jaylen Warren under 8.5 rushing attempts. You can see all the books have his under heavily favored. Market, I guess, is expecting Najee Harris is going to, take most of the load. Under 8.5 rushing attempts. So we have all under so far in this slip. And then we have, we just need one final slip to go with, or one final pick to go with. So sure, why not? We can take Ayo Dosunmu under half of a steal to not record a steal. So let's just lock this in, and then, then we can take a look at another play. So again, like I would bet more on PrizePicks. And you can see they already fucking moved the play on Karl Anthony Towns. So I'm taking too long to lock in these slips. So what we can do is, there was value on Towns points plus rebounds under. Is it still available? So this is still available. So let's just lock this in. God damn it. So you can see they just bumped his points plus rebounds. I mean, they're bumping everything as we try to get down the good lines. Or maybe someone else is betting ahead of me. But whoa. Here, though, we have another esports play that's just popping up. So I don't know if CS2, I don't know if these guys took a break, but it looks like value in esports is back in full swing. So we'll lock in this. Esports, crazy. If you would have told me I was betting on esports, half the nights of this year, I never would have believed you. But if you take a look, head trick, like once again, solid value. PrizePicks has his line at 30.5. Underdog and ParlayPlay have his line at 33. That seems like a good play to go with. So we can also check Underdog. I mean, maybe we can get some good plays down on Underdog as well. So here's what we just locked in on PrizePicks. Here's the first slip. I'm not sure if all the plays are still available. Here's the second slip. Oh my God. There is value on Underdog. So you can see this God B. We were just talking about his line was at 22.5, and there was this huge discrepancy between Underdog and PrizePicks. Now they bumped him up to 23.5. So what you can do is, again, you can middle bet it if you want to. Hit the over 23.5, the under 26, and you win both bets if he has 24, 25, 26, which is called a middle. But anyways, let's take a look at this play. Shit. So you can see I missed Wiggins. His line was at 10. Now it's up at 12.5. So all this line movement and, these good betting opportunities are due to, nearly all of them, especially the crazy ones, are due to lineup announcements. So probably, I don't know, maybe Andrew Wiggins is expected to start tonight, but who knows? So where do we want to go to next? So this play looks incredible. Dario Saric under 1.5 made threes. So this play looks absolutely incredible. So I don't know if he's not expected to start tonight, but we want to take his under. I mean, look at this. All the books have him super heavily favored. Well, it looks like Underdog just put his line up 4 minutes ago, but all the books have him super heavily favored to go under 1.5 made threes. Minus 215 on FanDuel. Minus 215, 2.5 to 1 betting favorite. So what we can do is then we can say, okay, now what we want to do is let's middle these two esports plays. So we have this guy. Let's take him over 23.5. We have this incredible play on Saric. But what we can do is we can say, okay, now let's go to these next guys. Or what do we want to do? Or we can just take Alex. I mean, that's my name. That's got to be good luck. Under 28.5 kills. So this is an esports play. And again, Underdog Fantasy, did they already move it? God damn it. So let's refresh this. And again, really the importance of speed in sports betting is crazy because these books are trying to move good bets and you're in a race against them, essentially. So anyways, it looks like I missed some of these plays, which is frustrating. So did they already bump this line on Saric too? I mean, let's see. Let me refresh this. We got games starting in 20 minutes. So you can see they already did they remove it? So let's go here. No, it's still available. But anyways, a little stressful when there's a lot of NBA games and lineups are being released just because the market's moving around really quickly. But it leads to some of the best bets. I mean, look at this line. If you use FanDuel, this looks incredible. Quickly over 5.5 assists, plus 130 on FanDuel. Bet Online is the only other book giving you plus money, and they have this at plus 100, minus 105 on DraftKings and Fliff. Seems like a great play to go with. And then you can see Dabble is just stale on everything. So I included in the description a link to sign up to Dabble with my, I have a refer a friend code. Check it out. It's a good book to have. But anyways, let's reload this. And ideally, we can find some good plays. So we got this on ParlayPlay. We have 1-2 picks on PrizePicks. And then on Fliff, we have, how many plays did we hit on this live stream? I don't think that many. I think we hit 2. But I did give out a parlay on Twitter earlier, but on the live stream, we hit these 2. This was from Twitter. So what we can do is, take a look, see anything else we love for tonight, anything else we want to go with. So we already have this play on Scotty Barnes. I mean, should we just call it a day? Underdog removed a lot of the good lines. Most of the value appears to be on Dabble. At least for the main sports books. Again, in these live streams, I just try to focus on the books. Legal in the most possible states. I mean, you can see PrizePicks. What's going on in this game? Jeremy Grant, under 24.5 PRAs. So if they end up bumping this on me, if they're on this live stream watching and bumping. So let's take a look at Jeremy Grant. Under 24.5 PRAs is what we want. And we want to get it down before they end up bumping it. You can see all the other books have the line at 23.5. So definitely some solid value on the under 24.5. We just need to get it down in time. So we can go here to Aaron Jones. And where's his touchdown line? Take his under, which was a really good NFL play we found earlier. We have Jalen Warren, under 9.5 rushing attempts. We could take that. Did they already move this line on? Nope. So you can see, though, PrizePicks already bumped up. What is going on? Anyways. So we have one play. Now we have, if you have plays in the same game, obviously it doesn't make sense to take Scoot under in PRAs and Jeremy Grant under in PRAs. Someone's going to have to score points. But what we can do is, we could play this play on Warren again. Under 8.5 rushing attempts, which I'm a little surprised by. But, I mean, look at Underdog. Look at ParlayPlay. They have the line at 8. All the sports books have the under as a heavy favorite. Pretty clear. So what we can do is we can go here. Is we can take Warren under 8.5 rushing attempts. So that will make our third pick. But I'd ideally not, ideally I don't just keep including the same pick again. I'm not opposed to doing it if a play is really good. But Karl Anthony Towns, we're already on his, oh no, we missed his under in points plus rebounds. But now it looks like there's value in his PRA line. So last time they ended up bumping this on us. I think we tried his rebounds line. But now we can check out his points plus rebounds plus assists line. So there's value on Grant and there's value, you can see all these other books, every single one. We have hundreds of data points. They all have his line at 34.5. PrizePicks just chilling with his line at 35.5. So we want to take the under. That's the play with value. But anyways, let's refresh. And you can see they just bumped Grant. So frustrating. Usually they don't bump things slow at night, early in the morning, or they don't bump things quickly. It really is at night when it seems like these lines start to move around pretty dang quick, which sucks, but makes it harder to get down good bets, but just kind of how it is. And that's another reason to use other sports books like Dabble. At least for me, finding good bets on PrizePicks, the limits, just being limited. It's not like my favorite book in the world. It's still a popular book, and I still like PrizePicks, but it's just hard to get down good bets because they bump things so quickly. Anyways, we can reload Underdog. Maybe there's some more value on Underdog or PrizePicks or something. If not, we'll call it a day. A lot of the games are starting anyways here in a sec as well. So Underdog, it's pretty dry. Maybe a little bit of value, but pretty dry overall. I mean, we just talked about trying to hit, or we did try to hit Sarik's, and you can see they just bumped Towns. I mean, it's crazy. But again, like close to game time, they're on top of it. So what we can do is we can go here and we can go to Sarik. And you can see they already bumped up his points plus assist line from 13.5 to 14.5. So you can see like the sportsbook, they're bumping lines in the direction we're trying to go, which makes it does give us a sense of confidence, right? If you place a bunch of bets and the book never bumps anything you bet, then you're probably getting ripped off because they're not bumping the line in your favor, right? If you're trying to get a good bet and it never moves, it probably wasn't a good bet to begin with because the sportsbook's not trying to change the odds. You're ultimately trying to find these good bets, inefficiencies in the market. Like we were trying to bet this guy over 13.5. Now his line's at over 14.5. That sucks. But also, it's clearly an indication it was a good bet over 13.5. PrizePicks already bumped it up to over 14.5. I mean, here's another option. But again, how long will it last? That's the magic question. So the good news is we have 2 NFL plays. I mean, again, I don't love including the same pick, but if we take a look at points plus rebounds, right, it's recommending Kamara under 12.5. So let's check out this play. I mean, you can see all the other books have the line at 11.5. I have no idea what PrizePicks is doing with the line at 12.5, right? Like, what are they doing? So this seems like a great play to go with. The problem is we got to move quick before they end up bumping this. But the good news is it looks like there's some other value and we can get a slip down, hopefully relatively quickly. So we have Tyler Seguin to record a point. All the books have his over heavily favored. Again, on PrizePicks, the key to beating PrizePicks, they're going to give us the same damn payout if we take his over. So this game starts soon. We take his over, we take his under, we get the same payout regardless. So we want to take his over because his over is heavily favored. So what else do we want to go with? Simons plus Edwards points. Bam, over 5.5 first quarter total points. So I'm fine with this. I mean, it does look like now things are settling in a bit. This seems like a great play to go with. Bam, over 5.5 first quarter points. All the books have his over, minus 140-ish. That seems decent. And there's that play on Barnes we hit earlier. So maybe if we're like, okay, like we already included this pick on Warren, maybe we want to diversify a bit. We can take Victor under 32.5 points plus rebounds. So let's go back here because it does seem like there's pretty good value on Wembanyama's under 32.5 points plus rebounds. And then we can go with this. Maximum daily amount is $4,000. I mean, bet it's maximum amount I can win. So PrizePicks coming up with all sorts of rules to try to, I mean, they're not even going to let me bet. At least one pick's projection has changed. What's changed, buddy? At least one pick's projection has changed. So, I mean, they'll do all sorts of stuff. It's crazy. But anyways, I can't just complain about it. Long story short, if you want some good bets on PrizePicks, I mean, all these plays I think are very good. Although they just bumped the play on Kamara, which is probably the best one. So they ended up bumping that one. Granted, man, it is crazy how quickly they're bumping some of these lines. But it just sucks. Sucks. RJ Barrett under 25.5 points plus rebounds. Anyways, we can see here if we can find one last thing on PrizePicks. I'm sure there will be great lines ripping around all day tonight. So here's the hockey play, right? All the books have ripped him or moved him. You can see to being a pretty big favorite to record a point, minus 140 favorite. So maybe we just take this play on Barnes again. Again, I in general don't like to include the same pick. But hey, they're bumping things, as you can tell, pretty quickly. And anyways, they're barely giving me any action on this sportsbook anyways. So regardless, able to get this down just as an example. We have the under, we have the over, under. So that seems like a pretty good play. See if there's any arbitrage plays. So again, arbitrage is the betting strategy I started with. It's It's pretty simple strategy. It's just when two sports books have such different odds from one another, you can bet the over on one book. So Rudy Gobert over 10.5 rebounds is minus 200 on FanDuel, minus 320 on DraftKings. So these two books are super out of sync. So arbitrage is when two books get super, super out of sync, just like this. DraftKings has the under at plus 225, where you can bet the over on one book, FanDuel, the under on another book, DraftKings, and guarantee yourself a profit. So, you just put in what your stake is. Just go to DraftKings, go to FanDuel. Again, the hard part is going to be lines moving, just like you saw with PrizePicks, although I've never seen a book move lines as quick as PrizePicks. They're fucking insane with how quickly they've been moving their lines. But arbitrage is just when two books get super out of sync, you can bet the over on one book, the under on a different book, and guarantee a profit. And again, like these arbitrage plays are always coming. They're always, you just have to be on top of it. Here's another huge discrepancy. Pull up the calculator. See how much to bet, what your risk-free profit will be. Easier said than done to get these down, but still. So we can go here. Anyways, Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes. Anyways, we'll call it a day for now. The games are starting, but thanks so much for your time. Sorry, PrizePicks was bumping pretty quickly today. I'll try doing one early tomorrow before the games, and hopefully, PrizePicks in general, they tend to not bump things as quickly on weekends. I don't think anyone's working on weekends, whereas I guess on a Friday they're on top of it with a lot of NBA. But anyways, thanks so much for your time.